Ho ho buddies, welcome to Borderline Games. I'm Gareth and today we're playing Chaos Head. Last time we got to our first proper ending. We got to the Silent Sky ending. And I have now got up a guide so that we can actually try and find all the different endings, because apparently to get the different endings you've got to go through and trigger certain delusions, and I don't want to try and guess at that stuff. So it says here, after you've achieved the Silent Sky ending, your next stop will be the Crying Sky ending. So we're going for Crying Sky. Reaching this ending will require you to start a new game and view at least 11 of the below listed delusions. To save time, you can engage the skip mode to fast travel through text you already have read. Okay. There'll be a handful of new scenes interspersed throughout the story. The skip mode will disengage during these scenes. Be sure to read them for additional context. Note that you may additionally encounter new yes or no prompts tied to the heroines throughout this game playthrough. We'll use these in subsequent playthroughs to branch into heroine routes, but for the time being, answer no to all these prompts. Okay, so new things that we see that have yes or no, just say no. No! So we're going to start a new game. Can I skip this? Yes, I can. So we're going to skip all of this. We've seen this. Hopefully it's going to... Okay, so... School swimsuit plus glasses is equal to perfection. So is this new? I don't know whether I remember this. I mean, let's just say no to all of this, I guess. I feel like we didn't do this last time. Okay, I'm pretty sure I can skip this, right? This isn't new. It says for new stuff it'll disengage, so... So it says, Chapter 1, Delusion Trigger number 1. We've got to be neutral. Hello, Masumi. Okay, awesome. Here we've got to be neutral. I felt bad about turning Masumi-kun down, since he seemed so excited about it, but I really did not want to go. But even though I was trying my hardest to refuse, he just wasn't listening. Maybe we'll even see the murderer. They say the criminal always returns to the scene of the crime, right? Huh, maybe she'd pick you as her next victim, to atone for your sins. You must die, you know, that kind of thing. As for your sins, though, huh. Being a shut-in? Okay, so we did it. Shut-in? I'm not. Taking some offense at Masumi-kun's choice of words, I almost snapped back at him. But I quickly decided against it when I considered the possibility that he might get upset at me. So I just bit my lip and turned away. When I did, I noticed that there was something written on the blackboard. At first, I didn't really care enough to read what was written there. My mind only registered the fact that something was written there and not what it was. But the longer I gazed at it, the more I realized something was wrong. Huh? Before I knew it, I was out of my chair. Move for a sec. Ow! What was that for? Whose eyes are those eyes? I pushed Masumi-kun aside and rushed over to the blackboard. The instant I realized what it said, I felt my heart stop. Whose eyes are those eyes? Those are the words I said to myself whenever I felt God's gaze. I never said them out loud before. I hadn't told anyone about them either. Not even Masumi-kun. It didn't matter how often I used it. There was no way anyone in this class could know about that phrase. So, who? Why? How? I quickly turned around and scanned the room. The only person paying any attention to me was Masumi-kun. The rest were talking to their friends, reading manga despite manga being against the rules, or sleeping on their desks. Then who? Who had written it? And when? Oh, it's just a coincidence. A yes or a no. So this has got to be the same. Let's have a look what it says. You may additionally encounter yes or no prompts tied to the heroines throughout this playthrough. So we just say no to this, I'm guessing. Okay, it just says say no, so we've got to say it's not a coincidence. I'm making it up. It's all in my head. No? I mean, this doesn't seem tied to a heroine, right? The new gen killer is somewhere in this school. No. I mean, I know that for sure. At the hospital. Whoever wrote this is trying to provoke me. I mean, it does say no to all of these prompts, so no. I should definitely erase it. No. Had it been there the whole time? Since before I'd even entered the classroom? I couldn't remember. It wasn't like I ever paid any attention to the blackboard anyway. Come on, what's the matter? Masumi-kun walked up to me, grabbed my shoulder and gave me a good shake. Are you even listening? Hello, Taku? It didn't matter who'd written it. It had to be a coincidence. It must have been a common phrase or something. It was just a stupid, pointless scribble. Yeah, that had to be it. I tried to convince myself of that, but it was still freaking me out. I still had no clue who'd written it. I'd have to ask everyone in the class to figure that out, and I didn't have anywhere near that kind of courage. Immediately after I thought that, homeroom began and my teacher came in the room. His eyes immediately zeroed in on the words written on the board, and with a quick, "Come on, who wrote this?" he grabbed the eraser and wiped them all away. For some reason, I was still a little creeped out, but I tried to just carry on like always. If I let myself get any more scared, I'd probably start thinking that someone was deliberately targeting me. But that was ridiculous. It was just a coincidence. In the end, I had to keep telling myself that until school was over. And when it finally was, I headed toward my usual internet cafe. So I think here is where the delusion I'd normally end up here, I think. For an indoor person like me, our cafe was the only hangout spot I enjoyed. Right, okay, we can skip this, I'm pretty sure. So, delusion trigger number 3. Okay, so... that was a delusion. We've seen that. Okay. Done this, done this. So the next thing I'm looking for is Yua being across the street. There's Nanami. This is irrelevant. So I can just skip all this, I think. The skippies. Okay, here we are. Right, okay. So it says here, Yua's looking at you from across the street. We've got to be neutral here. Shocked, I took a step back. On the other side of the crosswalk, standing among the crowd, waiting for the light to change, was the girl. And to make matters worse, the gaze beyond those glasses was clearly pointed straight at me. She didn't even try to look away. Her eyes were so intense it was as if they were urging me to do something. I couldn't take my eyes off her, either. It was like I was suffering from sleep paralysis. Suddenly, Girl A opened her mouth. She seemed like she was trying to say something. But everything else was so loud there was no way I could hear what she was saying. I was completely entranced. All I could do was stare at the movements of her lips. Whose eyes are those eyes? A chill ran down my spine. There was no way she'd just said that. It must have been my imagination. I sucked at lip reading anyway, so I'd probably just gotten it wrong. I shook my head, trying my hardest to look away from her. Either way, Girl A had definitely said something. Whatever it was incredibly creepy, especially considering the two of us had never met before. I needed to stay away from her. I should just run. I'll just run straight home. Run. Okay, we can now skip this, I think. Whipping my weak, withered heart into shape, I broke into a sprint. I ran back down Dojinzaka, trying to put as much distance between me and Girl A as I could. On the way, I turned to enter a back alley. Right, and this is where... And right as I did, I crashed into something and toppled over. A bike? Pain shot through my entire body. I groaned, not fully understanding what had just happened. The pain was so bad I could hardly stand. Yes, okay, we've seen this. So let's skip this. We've done all this. Yua takes me back. Yua's my best friend. Okay, so we don't need to worry about this. This isn't one of our triggers. Let's get used to the skippies. And then I think we see Yua take us back. We sit at the bench at this point, do we? Or is it the next day we skip? I think it must be the next day. And there we see... Was that Remy we saw then? Oh, and I think that... oh, here we are. This is the bench. And we also saw... I think we saw Yua in the background then, didn't we? Right, okay, we can skip this. In fact, actually, I'm curious as to what happens if we just have this as neutral. I feel like we didn't do that last time. I couldn't put my finger on it. I definitely felt like I'd seen them before, but I couldn't remember where. Was my memory really that bad? I'd always been confident in my memorization skills, and they never failed to help me score well on my tests. I was pretty smart after all. So why were they failing me now and at such an important time, or at least what felt like one? Where? Where had I seen them before? I felt that if I took a closer look at the Jiro Froggies, maybe then I'd remember. As for what would happen next, though, I didn't know. But I just wanted to stop feeling so hopelessly lost, so I, almost subconsciously, extended my hand and reached for the bundle of Jiro Froggies. No! It's the same stuff, isn't it? Suddenly, Yua slapped my hand away. What? Huh? Ah! What just happened? I was completely dumbfounded. Yua looked away from me, then awkwardly started to get off the bench. But as she did, her hand hit the 3 Jiro Froggies that were hanging from her bag. And almost as if in slow motion, her bag slowly fell off the bench and crashed to the ground. Yeah, so this is the same. Okay, let's skip this. So in reality, she's onto us, which is funny. Okay, so we're now on chapter 2, and we're looking for delusion trigger number 8, which is during the performance. So this one is fine. We can just skip this. There's the good doctor. There's our serial killer. We can skip this for now. Give it the skippies. So we're looking for a Phantasm performance. Oh, this is new. Okay, I guess. Oh, actually, let's have a look. Okay, so looking at the guide, it says that I don't need to actually worry about this too much. So I could either just skip it all. I'm gonna just skip it all. And then we're just gonna skip it. You're a serial killer. And then we want to get to the delusion where during the Phantasm performance. So I feel like it's a little way from here. Okay, keep on going, keep on going. There's Ban, there's Sewer, Ewer. That's me. Here we are. Okay. So where's the... Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Right, so it says, during the Phantasm performance while watching Fez, positive. So she looked right at me. And it wasn't like she'd just glanced in the general direction of my eyes, or like she'd briefly made eye contact with me or anything like that. Fez was blatantly looking right at me. I'd even go as far as to say she was staring at me, fixedly, as if evaluating my existence, as if searching deep within my heart. Her gaze was all too intense, and yet, somehow, she seemed a little sad. Here we go. What weird thing's gonna happen now? I can't remember whether we did this one or not. As she descended from the stage into the audience, I couldn't take my eyes off of her. What was going through her head, I wondered. The rest of the Phantasm members resumed playing. But Fez wasn't singing this time. She just wandered about in the middle of the crowd, and then she casually threw her jacket off, exposing her sexy shoulders. The previously quiet fans were getting excited once again. Everyone threw their fists in the air as they jumped up and down wildly. They made the ground shake so hard it felt like an earthquake. However, nobody laid a finger on Fez. Maybe they thought she was too holy of an existence to be touched. Normally, if a girl with her charisma dove into the crowd, it wouldn't be surprising if they got crushed to death. I feel like it would be a little surprising. But it seemed that Phantasm's herd of sheep had agreed to restrain themselves, all abiding by the unspoken rules of do not touch Fez. And in doing so, they could feel Fez's presence right in front of them. They could savour the fragrance of Fez's sweat. They could touch the same air as Fez. And that was the greatest joy of her followers could ever know. Until this point, I thought this was just any other performance, but I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw what Fez did next. She casually began to unfasten the belt around her waist, and then she threw it on into the crowd. All of her followers instantly reached for it, competing with one another to lay their claim over it. Then, with a sidelong glance at them, Fez, oh my god, unzipped her miniskirt. The skirt gently fell to her feet. This is weird. Her black, sensual underwear was exposed. Okay, cool. Being creepy again. She seemed to not have a care in the world about her acolytes seeing her in such revealing clothing. Maybe she was high off the atmosphere of the venue, or maybe this was part of the performance, or maybe she was just an exhibitionist. I had no idea, but her utter eroticism kept my eyes glued to her all the same. Hiya. Fez looked at me once more. Her lips formed a bewitching smile. Yo, she's coming over here. Fez's eyes were fixed on me, never once looking elsewhere. She slowly started approaching as if she had found her target. Then when she finally arrived before my very eyes, as if I was her lover, she blew her sweet breath toward me and wrapped her arms around me. skin was slightly damp with sweat. The scent and warmth were so alluring they made me dizzy. Her breasts pressed up against me quickly and repeatedly rubbing up and down my body. I guess it's true what they say about singing being exhausting because I could feel her ragged breath directly on my skin. Her arms were wrapped around my back, holding me close, her nails were digging into the nape of my neck, and her thighs were twined around my leg. Shivers ran through my entire body, like jolts of electricity. I wasn't able to push her aside, nor could I return her embrace. The only thing I could do was stand still, staring at her with my eyes wide in confusion. The followers cheered again, but this time the noises they made sounded more like screams. The music played by Phantasm intensified. Chants of Fez echoed throughout the venue, then shouts of "Do it! Do it!" began to follow. Do it? Do what exactly? In a situation like this, what could they be talking about? I had no idea. Fez, meanwhile, just kept hugging me in silence. Seeking help, I looked for Masumi-kun's silhouette in the crowd. But when I found him, to my surprise, he was sharing an intense kiss with a girl in the crowd I'd never seen before. No, it wasn't just Masumi-kun. The rest of the acolytes, boys and girls alike, were throwing their clothes off, getting as naked as the day they were born. Some embraced one another, others placed their lips together, and some were even beginning to do the deed. I've never heard it being called do the deed in a while. Hell screams of pandemonium complemented the gluttony for carnal pleasure. Moans, groans, and the obscene sounds of flesh rubbing against flesh pervaded through the venue where Phantasm had just performed. This is a black mass. I finally realised this was an obscene feast hosted by the witch known as Fez. And more importantly, the sacrifice brought in for the witch today was me. I'd been chosen as the partner for Fez. Was this really what a Phantasm concert was like? I was also beginning to lose myself in the atmosphere. I could feel a hazy mist engulfing my mind. I felt excitement toward what was to come, but also dread. I felt superior, having been chosen by Fez, but also completely entranced by ecstasy. I thought I was going insane. Like time, the world had stopped completely. Fez's laughter reached my ears once more. Even in this flood of sound, I could hear her voice clear as day. What a sexy voice. Just hearing the sound of it put me on the verge of fainting. But Fez was seducing me into diving further and further into this melting pot of pleasure. Her teeth lightly sank into my earlobe. She let out a sigh right into my ear. And then she whispered, "Whose eyes are those eyes?" Fez, you're so sexy, Fez. Sitting in front of my PC, I'd gotten lost in another delusion of mine. The concert I'd gone to earlier today was great inspiration. After all, as far as 3D girls went, Fez was pretty nice. That said, the number of people in the crowd had been way too high. Hell would have to freeze over for me to go there. I'd wanted to get the fuck out, basically, the entire time. In the end, the size of the crowd made me too sick, so I had to rush to leave the venue. Today's delusion had been awesome, and who knows, maybe Phantasm and Fez actually did that kind of stuff. They just decided to skip today. Well, anyway, guess I'll log on to ESO or something. Okay, now we can skip. Okay, now we're playing ESO. After the Phantasm performance, while playing ESO, it needs to be positive. Give me that. So, who is talking right now? We need to just check our dialogue. So, figuring out I left my keyboard alone as I ate some chips. Then surely he'd waltz right into the city. He was the hero everyone worshipped after all. So is this Neidhart saying this, right? No, this is me saying it. Hey Neidhart, I'm always looking at you, you know. Are you aware of that? And then... let's go to the 2D world. I hadn't typed anything, and yet Neidhart still spoke. Thinking it was just an optical illusion, I rubbed my eyes, but the message was still there displayed in the chat. Go to the 2D world? What was that supposed to mean? Even you can be a hero. We'll fight together. Are you talking to me? I feel like we did this one before, didn't we? But I'll go through it anyway. You're not into 3D, right? You couldn't care less about it. Well, yeah, but... Neidhart was speaking to me, the player controlling him. What the fuck? Did he have a will of his own after all? Place your hand on the monitor. When you do, you'll be able to enter Baselard as Nishijou Takumi. The password is... whose eyes are those eyes? Yeah, I remember this. But I refuse. If I get the opportunity to go into the 2D world, I'm for sure picking an Eroge. Baselard is all yours, Neidhart. After replying, I used force shutdown to turn my computer off. It turned back on. Alright, cool. So we've done that one. I think that is all delusions we need to do in Chapter 2, so we can just jump right on to Chapter 3. Here we are taking Nanami to Maki D's. Here we go. Chapter 3. So, Chapter 3, Delusion 12 at the base, looking at your monitor right before Rumi's first appearance. Okay, so we've got to be looking at our monitor. It's got to be positive. Okay, we can ignore this. We don't need to worry about that one too much. Ah! Please let me ogle you more. So we just say no to this. If it's with this girl, I'm willing to get down on my hands and knees and beg with all my heart and soul. If given the choice, I prefer being stepped on. This game is weird. I've got nothing against a little swordplay, if you know what I mean. She's gonna kill me with that sword either way. No. Okay, so we can skip this. Go to... looking at the monitor right before Rumi's first performance. So we're at the base. Okay, we can ignore this one. Yeah, I think we can ignore this one, that's fine. You know what I should do, actually? I should save this, you know, just in case I fuck up along the way. So I think I want this one locked. I want to save on this one. Overwriting, well, yeah, okay, I'm overwriting, that's fine. Awesome. Okay, so now go back. No. Now go back. Okay, we can skip this. Our conversation with Suwa and Ban. Here. Okay, so this is looking at the monitor. Looking at your monitor right before Rumi's first performance. Positive. Pretty sure this is the right one. When had I first started feeling the gaze? I'd long since forgotten. It slithered its way into each and every part of my life, bothering the shit out of me all the way. There were a lot of things that disturbed my peace, but the gaze was right up there with Nanami as the most irritating thing I had to deal with. Fine then. Let's do it. The it'll take more than that to turn me around game. Still fixated on my monitor, I tried to think of some cool lines you'd hear in a manga. Come on out, you piece of shit. Did you think you could pull the wool over my eyes? How incredibly naive.
you found me out.
I'm guessing... Oh, is this Rumi? No, hang on. At the base looking at your monitor right before Rumi's first performance. I'm pretty sure I just did positive there, didn't I? Did I just not do... Oh, okay, I'm going to have to reload it. I'm not sure whether I just did positive or not. Good job I did this. Right. Let's do it again. Skip all of this nonsense. Here. Positive. I feel like I did do it now. It's not the time. Come on out, you piece of shit. Did you think you could pull a wool over my eyes? How incredibly naive. Oh, excuse me. Phone going off. Yeah, it turns out that I actually did, I did do it, so it's fine. But if I hadn't, I'd worried all the way through that I hadn't done it. If I didn't check, rather, you know?
Ah, you found me out.
Of course I have. How many times have I told you not to stand behind? Huh? Was that a woman's voice just now? Oh, if that's Remy, I can do Remy instead. Goosebumps stood up all over my body. I thought maybe it was Saratan. Had the reclusive owner of the gaze finally decided to show themselves? Was that even possible? Should I turn around and see who it was? Or what if she attacked me the moment I did? It was a fairly cute-sounding voice, but what if, in reality, a monster far removed from anything human was standing there? No. If that were the case, wouldn't that mean they were getting ready to attack me right now? If I didn't turn around now, I wouldn't even notice if they killed me. Maybe I should say something else to see if they would respond. It was possible that the voice I'd heard was just a hallucination or a delusion or something, so that'd help confirm it. And I mean, I talked to my Saratan figure all the time in my head. It had to be the same thing. What? I tried to be bold and ask, "Who are you?" but I hesitated. If I was to provoke the attacker, it could have very easily spelled the end for me. It could have caused her to finally stop waiting and attack me. So many delusions ran through my head that I found myself completely paralyzed. What should I do? Maybe the whole thing was a product of my own design and I was just being the world's biggest dumbass. I swear if the owner of the gaze wasn't here, and I'd just been sitting here trembling in fear over nothing, I was going to kill myself. Taku. Why are you so tense? That's not how she sounds at all. That's... Why are you so tense? Oh god, it really wasn't a hallucination or a delusion. There was someone right behind me. Startled, I reflexively turned around. Hiya, Remy. Hiya. The demon girl. The girl sitting on the sofa was undeniably the same one I'd seen at the crucifixion crime scene. And now, for some reason I couldn't comprehend, she was just standing there, looking at me, smiling. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. She'd finally come to kill me. It had to be because of the detectives I'd talked to. She'd seen me do it with her clairvoyance. After that, she'd infiltrated my base without making a sound, took up a position in which she could kill me at any moment, and now she was reveling in my fear as I cried and screamed in terror. It couldn't be anything else. Don't kill me, I tried to scream, but I was too terrified to make a sound. Huh? Do's didgeridoo. Tilting her head to the side, the demon girl unleashed a strange incantation. It had to be some demonic tongue. She was cursing me. In hopes of gaining as much distance as possible from her, I went to hide underneath my desk. Problem was, I was so shaken that I ended up bashing my head into the edge of it, rendering me unable to move as I writhed in pain. What are you doing, Taku? That was a crazy loud sound you just made. Bonk. Even now the demon girl was keeping up her amused smile. But it had to be a trap. One built to lull me into a false sense of security. The second I let my guard down, she'd swoop in and end me. Or maybe she already had with that curse she'd placed on me a minute ago. In a few days, my entire body would suddenly start spewing blood everywhere. and I'd die right there and then. I beg you, don't kill me. I got down on my hands and knees, cradling my head between my arms. Those goddamn detectives have completely fucked me over. I'm sorry, I'm talked to the police, so please. Huh? And even when I told them everything, they didn't believe a word I said. It was a lie meant to buy me some time. The older detective had said he'd guarantee my safety. If he was doing his job properly, he had to have sent at least one officer over to my place. Upon thinking that, I suddenly realised I'd given the old man my phone. I given the old man my phone number, but I hadn't given him my address. Fishy. Suddenly, the demon girl assumed a pose resembling a salute. And what was just as, if not more strange, was what she'd said. It was almost like a sound effect. Was it another demonic curse? You're gonna stop talking like that right now. Stuff like, don't kill me, the police, or any other weird stuff like that. I've got no clue what any of it means. What, was she trying to play dumb? Or was this her roundabout way of threatening me, and in actuality she was saying forget the truth, act as if nothing ever happened? What the hell was she thinking? Hadn't she come here to kill me? Come on, can you stand? Here, let me help you. The demon girl got up from the couch and reached her hand out to me. Her expression was so gentle, and now that I was seeing her up close, she was actually pretty cute. Damn it. I was letting her get to me. Stop acting like a goddamn idiot. Was I seriously calling a demon pretty cute? She was a murderer. She'd used Yua and Shogun to trap me, and now she'd come to finish me off herself. Don't trust her. I'd already learned my lesson back with Yua. I'd never make the same mistake again. I refused to take her hand. Don't be deceived by this demon girl's smile. She was a demon trying to tempt me. If I gave into that temptation, I'd die. Trust no one. Don't believe anything. Don't believe anything anyone says. But I saw you kill someone. Taku, don't you realise that's a pretty mean thing to say? Can't say I ever thought I'd get called a murderer. What was she gonna do with me? Aren't you gonna kill me? Just like the guy in the fourth case. Was she gonna... For New Gen? Oh, are you gonna take me where Yua and Shogun? Yua? Shogun? Who are those guys? Maybe the three of them had decided to work together. That way I wouldn't be able to fight back when they beat me to death. No. Please. Anything but that. Help me. Okay. I promise I'll help you, as long as you stop treating me like a murderer. So that was her true goal. Oh, come on. Don't freak out like that. You act like this to every other thing I say, and it always bums me out. Please, I won't tell a single soul about you again, so please, let me go. Hello? Taku, could you calm down a little? This bitch acting like we were close or something, calling me Taku and shit. Wait, actually, how did she know my name? She'd already known it back when we first met at the crucifixion crime scene. How? How did she know it? And also, how would she know where my base was? I mean, why wouldn't I? It only makes sense. Why, I know your name, I mean. Had she just read my mind? I knew she was clairvoyant. She knew my name, my address, all because she'd used her powers on me. You sure do talk to yourself a whole lot, Taku. Then again, you've pretty much always done that. Always? How long was she talking? Wait, had I been talking to myself out loud just now? I hadn't been aware of it at all. Was that really true? Had I really been talking to myself out loud? Or was it possible that she was just lying to me and in actuality she'd read my mind? Why wouldn't I know your name, Taku? I mean, I know I'm not great at remembering stuff, but I always remember the names of my friends. Friends? Also, Taku, you're making fun of me. Sure, my test scores aren't that high, but it kinda hurts when you say that sort of thing to my face, you know? Was someone here crazy, but who was it? Me? Her? Could you be a transfer student? Oh yeah, now that you mention it, there's apparently a transfer student moving into our class soon. Mr. Sukashin said something like that. There were two different conversations going on here. My terror from earlier, together with the anxiety of having no idea when I'd get killed, was starting to fade. But rushing in to replace it was a completely new kind of dread, slithering in to slowly erode my mind. Hello? Judging by your face, I'm guessing you still don't believe me. Who are you? Who was she? A murderer? A demon girl? That was who. Wow. You can't even remember your own classmate, looks like. I can't believe you. Did she say classmate? So we weren't just friends, but classmates too. Well, I guess I can't bug you too much about it. You don't come to school very much after all. However, that doesn't mean you can just totally forget I exist. Have you really forgotten my name? There's no way. Come on, you have to know it. I know. You know. Me. Whoa. Remy? That's it, right on the money. 50 yen to you, contestant. What? Yep, Sakihata Remy, reporting for duty. Wowee, you really do remember me. Glad to hear it. How? Was it true? Was the demon girl's name really Remy? Why had that name suddenly popped into my head just now? Why did I know this girl's name? Maybe she really was my classmate and friend and I'd just forgotten? No, there was no way. I never even heard of the name Sakihata Remy. It had to be a fake name, it had to be. That when I'd said Remy, she just decided that'd be her name right then and there. It was like one of those spam emails from a Nigerian prince that used your personal info. Besides, other than Yua, I'd never met a 3D girl who talked to me like we were this close in my life. And Yua was the demon girl's underling. Wait, that was it! What the girl was calling herself Sakihata was doing right now was exactly the same as what Yua had done. This temptress knew I wasn't used to interacting with 3D girls, so she was attempting to lead me into a trap by behaving all friendly and trying to seduce me. It was the exact same strategy. And the thing is, while I barely remember the classmate's face at all, and I didn't plan to, either, I could say with absolute certainty that I'd never seen this girl's face in the same classroom as me before. Probably. Damn it, I couldn't completely rule it out. After all, whenever I was at school, I was usually glued to my desk until the final bell, pretending to sleep, having delusions, staring at my desk, or feigning reading my textbooks. I didn't do anything else. I'd next to no memories of my classmates, names and faces, so I didn't even try to remember any. Which was it? Was she telling the truth, or was it all a lie? No, it didn't matter whether or not we were classmates, because the one thing I knew for sure, the one hard, indisputable fact, was that she'd committed murder. Are you really having trouble in remembering? Are you really having trouble remembering? Do you get amnesia when you hit your head a little bit ago? The demon girl reached for my head. I retreated back under my desk to try and avoid her. Taku, you're being weird. I know. How about you ask Daichen? Okay, now we can skip this. We've done this. If you do, maybe you'll remember then. Daijin, what the hell was that? What was that a person or some sort of secret code? Another demonic incantation? Come on. Daijin. Dashin. Usui Dasuki. Huh? Let's skip. So the next one we're looking for, on the school rooftop, Rimi talks to you in class. We're going to do negative. So it's on the rooftop. On the school rooftop. So now we're getting a D-sword, which isn't a D-sword actually. Okay. Okay, so we can skip this one. Skippies. We've got a case of the skippies. There's Remy. On the rooftop. Here we go. Now, negative. On the school rooftop after Remy talks to you in class. Negative. There were only 5 calls on the list. Which meant that since I'd bought the cell phone, I'd only received 5 calls, 3 of which were from Nanami. That left 2 others. The one from earlier today and the one from 5 days ago were shown as numbers instead of names, as they hadn't been registered in my address book. They were both from the same number, 03X733X991. Considering they'd gone out of their way to leave a message, it was probably someone who really wanted to tell me something. Guess I'd go ahead and listen to it. Oh, this is Yua. This is Kusanagi Yua. I'm sorry for calling you so out of the blue like this. However, there's something I need to talk to you about no matter what. I was able to buy the new Sarah Chan figure. I couldn't have done it without you, Nishijo-kun. I'm very grateful. It's very cute, but a little lewd, wouldn't you say? Ha 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 ha. When I was buying it, I was really embarrassed. Oh, that's right. Did you see this week's episode of Blood Tune? What an incredible plot twist. My heart was pounding the entire time. I was watching it. Don't you agree? I don't know whether your heart was pounding the entire time. You're schizophrenic. You killed someone. Murderer. You're the true culprit. You'll pay for your sins. I won't let you escape. Whose eyes are those eyes? Okay, well that will fuck you up. Even though it had been my own delusion, I was terrified. It was entirely possible for you to have gotten a hold of my cell phone number from somewhere and called me after all. I didn't want to listen to the voice message anymore if I could help it. But since I'd already simulated the worst possible outcome in my delusions, I should have been able to handle it as long as I only had to listen and nothing else. And we will leave it there for today's episode of Chaos Head, looking at the Crying Sky ending. Next time we're going to explore that. We went through 3 chapters there, which is pretty good. I'm imagining we might get nearly to the point. I don't think we'll do it in the next episode, but maybe we'll have this done in 3 episodes. I will see you next time. Have a great evening. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.